Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Good Time at the Movies. I'm Wyatt. That's JP. And this is the one we've been waiting for a couple weeks now.
Yeah,
We've been
actually.
talking about it. We've been talking about it for almost a month. We've both finally seen it. I assume you saw it last night, not this morning.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
apparently the whole world saw it Thursday night. The hype has for this movie has been insane. My theater was packed. Every other screening at the AMC near me full. And then I logged it on Letterboxd. Everyone I follow on Letterboxd logged it the same night. It was kind of funny that we were all like, we got to go right now.
Yeah.
It was fun. I liked that. Yeah.
It was cool. It was a packed theater for me as well. I went with a lot of my friends, which we'll talk about as we talk about our reaction to this movie.
Oh, I have
But
thoughts about the crowd that was in my theater as well. Yes.
I've seen a lot of tweets about crowds at this movie, but we'll get into it. I want to open up the floor as always.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts coming out of the theater for Backrooms.
I will I want to compare this to Obsession so bad, but I can't. We should do that at the end of
We'll do it at
this.
the end. At the
At
end,
the
we'll
end.
talk about Obsession versus Backrooms.
But Backrooms on its own, just approaching this concept is like probably one of the hardest jobs you can do as your first feature film. That's like it because the whole intriguing concept of the Backrooms is the enigma, the mystery, the fact that you cannot understand it no matter how many times you go in, it continues to confound you. That's hard to do in a movie that's an hour 45. That's like almost impossible. And it's also very much a analog found footage vibes slow burn horror. Usually that's not my forte. I do want to compare it. There's a Skinamarink movie called Skinamarink. It came out maybe 4 years ago. Very similar in terms of the digital noise of the camera used adds tenfold the shadows in the corner and the odd angles of a location that feels familiar and is mundane, but how the camera looks at it and especially the soundscape makes it horrifying. It's very similar to Skinamarink, that liminal space, analog vibes horror. So if you're in that lane, this movie is crack. It is crack cocaine. If you really do not vibe with that at all and you need to put a lot of energy into that kind of movie to enjoy it, this movie might not meet you there because I fully think it's using the perfect amount of the found footage vintage camera vibes. It's using just the right amount because if you watch Cloverfield or like Paranormal Activity or one that I really want to watch is Wreck, which is a reporter stuck in a skyscraper that's ground zero for a zombie outbreak. These found footage movies,
Okay.
they have to like excuse why they keep using the camera. It gets to a point where any human being would be like, screw this, drop the camera and run. And those movies
Yeah.
have to be like, especially Cloverfield. There's a horrible line where it's like, we gotta keep recording to like remember this, man. This movie doesn't do that. It's very much we will use it when it works and we will drop it the second it doesn't. I respect that massively. The actual when they use the nice camera, the real world people and the third perspective omnipotent camera, those scenes don't have that texture of the analog camera. Like Kane Parsons very much knows how to simulate and use that texture, the graininess, to like great effects. And then when that's not there, you kind of feel that. And they don't add new things instead. Now, with a feature film with this kind of budget, he can put the camera wherever he wants, and he does, which is really cool. There are a lot of really low angles and a lot of really high angles that I really enjoyed. I wanted, again, I like camera stuff. I wanted it to be way more textured, tactile, the camera work. He chooses to go wide and show the immensity of the space, I kind of needed some insert shots of like feet on carpet, because the carpet is a very specific part of the aesthetic of this kind of genre of horror. And the wallpapers, like, you've done all this work to build the space. You got the right wallpaper, you got the right lighting effects. They were, I think he was talking about, we rented like 90% of the LED Titan tubes in Vancouver, which is hilarious because some of those wide shots, it's like, yeah, how the hell did you get enough Titan tubes for this shot? And it's, the answer is we got all of them. I I kind of wanted the camera to be part of the fun in terms of the production design. Show me a close up of the wallpaper peeling. Show me a close up of feet in the carpet sinking into the carpet. But also, I didn't watch any of the YouTube stuff that he's made. I think this is a blind guess from just vibes that I'm getting. This feels like not the finale of his show. This feels like the pilot. Like, you watch this, this is
Hmm.
like day 0 or day 10 of everyone figuring out what the hell this place is. And then the rest of the show is the company continuing their research. I thought it was going to be the
Yeah.
opposite way around, that this movie was going to be the finale of those videos. It feels like it's actually the first thing. So the carpet is
Yeah.
clean, the wallpaper is perfect. It's not decaying as much as I thought it would. But apparently there's different kinds of back rooms, lore and stuff. Um, like those like abandoned theme park rides. That's a huge aesthetic in this liminal space horror. I thought it was going to be more like that in terms of decaying objects, and it's way more the unexplainable cleanliness of it that he's going for.
Yeah.
And I was just not expecting that. So in rewatch, I might not have that same complaint. So
Yeah. I wonder what, because neither of us are hardcore Backrooms fans, as in
mm-mm.
we've watched all the stuff, we've watched all the reactions and like the breakdown. So neither of us are coming at this movie from that perspective. I'm really interested to see what the hardcore fans think of this movie because, like you said, it's not this like closure for this journey they've been on for years. It's more of just an expansion, like you said, almost a pilot for
Yeah.
what the Backrooms could be, which is interesting because I think my biggest struggle with this movie is we've mentioned before we talk about movies that sometimes don't know what they want to be. On the flip side, I think for me personally, I don't know what I wanted this movie to be, if that makes
Okay.
sense. I
Because
think this
this
movie's
movie
made
is
sense.
exactly
Yeah.
what it wants to be. It's
Yes,
exactly
a
what it wants
hundred
to be.
percent.
Yes.
A
Yeah.
100%. I just don't know what I wanted it to be in terms
Mm.
of I don't know if I wanted more of this story, this like personal story between these two characters, and like how it relates to the Backrooms, or did I just want them to go full into Backrooms? Don't even worry about like grounding this in any way, and just
Yeah.
let me explore this space. Where I think that's where I struggled with it. It wasn't one or the other. It probably lent itself more towards just exploring the Backrooms, as the Backrooms is the main character, and then you have these two that almost felt shoehorned a little bit into this movie, or just the screenplay wasn't as fleshed out as
Like the
it
people.
maybe. Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
I just
So
think the screenplay wasn't there for me, and that's my preference for movies.
yeah, I think I have two comments on that. I'm already forgetting one, but I think the people, the furniture store owner, Clark, I think is his name, and
Hmm.
his shrink, played by
Yeah.
Renata Reinsve, um, her character, I I was like on frequency. I was really
Hmm.
vibing with her character and how the breadcrumbs of what her past is, and her mom being, I think, like agoraphobic. Like, we're gonna stay in the house, do not even look outside,
Hmm.
and then that place being destroyed. That whole sequence, it's not even one sequence. It's just broken up in sprinkled throughout perfectly. Like, her character is exactly what I needed her character to be. The furniture store guy, I was liking, and then this gets to my other point of, the Backrooms is supposed to be this unsolvable mystery, consumable mystery, but then you have to make it a consumable movie within this runtime. You have to reduce or simplify an aspect of it for a wide audience, a wide scale, wide release audience, and just to like have a big bad before the credits, and how that big bad interacts with the furniture store guy. That's my only real hiccup with this movie.
Hmm.
I found it too simplified. The second it showed up, it's like, oh, I know exactly what they're trying to do. That's a cool idea. It works with the theme, so it should work. And then, the big chase at the end happens, and I'm kind of sitting there like, okay. It's like Jaws. Well, it's Jaws is the exception to this rule, but if you hide your monster, we, the audience, fill in the gaps with our own fears. The second you show the monster, it's like, oh, that's what it is. Jaws is
Yeah.
the only exception because it's a man-eating shark. Like, it's still scary. A lot of like these monster movies, they try to hide the monster for budget, and also as like a Jaws homage. It's like, well, Spielberg figured out the recipe. We just have to copy it. And then they reveal the monster, and it's just, okay, there it is.
Yeah.
That fear shrinks, even though like you spend all this time planning the design of the monster, and this movie especially does it practically with an actor, the actor from Alien Romulus, former basketball
Hmm.
player who's like 7 foot tall. It's
Yeah.
just like I like all the stuff that they're doing, but it makes the movie feel smaller the second it happens,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah.
unfortunate.
And it's interesting because, like you said, it diminishes the fear once that reveal happens.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even say this is a scary movie.
It's
Like,
spooky. It's not scary.
yeah,
It's
it's
spooky. It's
unsettling.
it's the vibes, horror aspects.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
And
spooky. Yeah.
so I want to talk about the things I did like about this movie. And
Yes.
I'm so glad this movie exists because there's a lot to talk about. Whether I enjoyed it or not doesn't matter and shouldn't matter to people.
There's a lot
Like
going on. Yes.
there's a
Yeah.
lot, and I love when movies don't spoon feed you anything. It makes you question everything, even when they're in the real world outside of the shop. The backdrops, you're like, wait a second, is this a room itself? Like it really makes you question everything, like Truman style type mindset. And
Mm.
then which I enjoy, because you're watching each scene play out. You're kind of looking in the background to like, is this make sense? What's going on here?
Especially
You're
in
like
the
watching
third
one of those
act.
spots. Yes, you're
Yeah.
seeing the characters in the background. You're like, wait, did they just move? What's happening here? So
Yeah.
like, it keeps you engaged throughout the entire thing. I think my problem is, as much as I like movies not to spoon feed me and breadcrumb me, I need a little bit of payoff. I don't think I got any payoff at all in the end, where it felt like the
Okay.
extreme of, I'm not going to spoon feed you anything. I'll breadcrumb, breadcrumb, breadcrumb. And then I felt unsatisfied at the end. But I want
I'm
to hear your thoughts on that.
I'm the opposite of that, because the
Okay.
big bad, the big scary thing that chases people around, that to me felt spoon fed. It's like,
Okay.
here's the theme in one monster that you can identify in one frame. The theme is that, like repressed personas of oneself, repressed memories, repressed dreams, projected, manifested. It's like, all right, I get it, but it feels very like there's a giant heaping spoonful of what we're trying to say with the movie. Which that's what your monster is supposed to be. It's what it's supposed to be. Like in Jaws, the sheriff is afraid of water. How do you make him more afraid of water? You put a giant fucking shark in it. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
um, is there like a police chase in your neighborhood? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. I think I have the garage open, so
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably why. Yeah.
So I liked when it wasn't spoon feeding me anything. The backrooms should stay ominous and unknowable.
Mm-hmm.
And then I will say the whole big bad chase scene, I was like, kind of indifferent to it. Um, but the last montage Those last like 7 images that they show, I saved this movie for me to like a whole new level. The
Okay.
last shot, the last like the telephone poles, the how the place remembers things, and you entering is your participation into the memory of the space is so goddamn cool. That last shot, I was like, you got it. That's it. That's what it needs to be. I think that was like the perfect bow tie to this movie. I loved the last like 7 images. It was fantastic. Ending the movie on the perfect note. I
Okay.
like that the how memory and remembering and wanting to be remembered is all encompassing of everything about this movie. And that's so in like on the pulse with what the Backrooms is. It's that weird, strange, like it's not alien. You've never seen it before, but it feels familiar. It is remembered, but it is wrong. That's the whole point of this. And I
Yeah.
found that they figured it out in the production design and the visuals spectacularly. But Backrooms was created online through like you not unanimous, but unknown like accounts, and the participation of anyone could add to the lore. Anyone could make a new post. That's why this thing has such an amazing half-life. It's still going after like 5 years on the internet, 6.
Yeah.
That's insane for like an internet creation. Like Slenderman did not last this long in terms of
Yeah.
passion. You could feel the passion and the participation online, which is why it still is so out there. It's still so active.
Hmm.
And then they made it video games, and then Kane Parsons made the YouTube micro series, and he put in Easter eggs so you could write in the comments directly to him like, "Oh my god, I saw this. Oh my god, is this where you're going?" And then in the video game, you can explore the space on your own as your character. Participation is key with this concept.
Hmm.
The second you make a movie, I'm sitting in a dark room not doing anything. I'm watching it happen in front of me. There's no participation on my part. And that's I was feeling that the entire movie. It's
Yeah.
like they're we're doing it now. The video game adaptations. We got Mortal Kombat, we got Street Fighter, even like smaller indie video games like Exit 8 and now Backrooms and The Last of Us on HBO. We're doing video game adaptations now because that's the new IP to pillage for money, but they're lacking the participation from the consumer. We sit
Hmm.
here and we watch it, and it's like, okay, but I want to control that guy. I want to move around. I want to explore the space. And then when you have a space like the back rooms, I want to go down that hallway. Why are they going down this one? You're missing the
Yeah.
participation. And I was feeling that the whole time.
Yeah. It's it is really interesting because, and we'll
Yeah.
talk more about like maybe the audience that went to go see this movie on opening night, because I feel the passion and I feel
Yes.
the I mean obviously we've seen the nasty end of it with some of the clips we've done, but I could feel the passion
It's
behind
it's proof that it
the
exists.
backrooms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of me wants so badly to feel what they feel because I see people getting so excited and so invested in the backrooms. I just don't know if I've ever personally got to that place. Even watching the
Yeah.
YouTube videos, watching the movie, I can tell other people are experiencing something different than me. And it's
Yeah.
frustrating, but that's not to take away from their experience of it. Where, like, oh, maybe at the end of the day, this might just not be for me. And that's
Right.
totally okay. Like,
Yeah.
a total, like, not my speed, whatever. But I can see everyone else who have maybe invested a lot more of their just livelihood into this story, into this idea. I can see them getting excited about it. And so, like, part of me wants to grab onto that and be like, I want to go along for the ride. And
Yeah.
so I tried to with this movie, and maybe I just left a little unsatisfied with that. I don't know if that makes any sense, but that's just kind of
Well,
how I felt.
It's the same with Star Wars. You went to
Yeah,
see a Star Wars movie that takes place after 3 seasons of a TV show, and you're
yeah.
like, "What's? Why
But
is
the
this
difference,
special?"
I
Yeah,
think the difference there is the audience who was there to see it, having invested the time, already had a little bit of like frustration built up, maybe over the past couple years of
because it's
how this
older.
franchise has been dealt. Yeah.
Because it's
So
older.
that,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Backrooms is
right now the
still
backrooms,
fresh. It is ripe for all of this stuff to still work. Yeah,
and they want to protect the IP. You can tell, like whether this movie was god awful, which it's not,
right.
whether if it was, people would still want to protect Kane Parsons and the IP just because this is our baby. It's still now once it exceeds a certain limit and becomes a maybe 2, 3, 4 movie thing, then those fans start to turn on it, and you could see something like that. But right
Yeah.
now, I
Well,
love it because like there's a fervor about it.
it's grassroots fandom, and that's both like really exciting and also really scary. Because I do want to connect to Chris Stuckman, who is a huge YouTube reviewer. He's like a movie critic on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
He finally made a movie. He made a feature film, crowdfunded, one of the biggest crowdfunding success stories in YouTube filmmaker history. And then it got picked up by Neon, dream come true for him. Got produced by Mike Flanagan, dream come true. Like all of his dreams are coming true. It comes out, everyone hates it. His whole
Mm-hmm.
fandom like kind of turned on him. It was crazy how quick his dream just fell flat on its face. So
It's
I don't
crazy.
think that's going to happen with Backrooms. I
No.
think the Kane Parsons, army of fans are going to ride this thing to the horizon, and they will enjoy every second of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because it always comes back to kind of the conversation of how, like, what's the success here in terms of the movie making experience? Because when we walked out, I saw this with 4 of my friends. We walked out. I think all of us felt the same type of frustration I was feeling. One of my friends was deep into the Kane Parsons lore, watched all the videos, and was super excited for it. So I think his
Oh,
expectations were
okay.
a little high. But
Yeah.
we were all talking about it. We all, admittedly, were kind of negative about the movie, but we sat in the parking lot and talked about it for 30 minutes. And there was one point as we were doing that, we all pointed out, we're like, we've seen a lot of movies together.
Yeah.
No other movie has made us do this. So is there like a little bit of a success in there, even if it didn't click with us? It's doing something because we're sitting here engaging with it still 40 minutes after the credits rolled.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's cool. Like I can
Yeah.
appreciate that we're having those conversations, even if the movie itself wasn't for us, which was cool. I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
I mean, I think that's the benefit of trying to keep things as abstract but also niche as possible. Like Weapons last year, I was in the
Hmm.
parking lot at Regal after Weapons for like a good 30 minutes. And we were like, how successful is this movie going to be? And like, what was like the rifle in the air, and what did
Yeah.
217 mean? Like, we're trying to figure out all the symbols and stuff. And then the door to the movie theater opened, and then all of these kids ran out into the street like high schoolers, doing like
Yeah.
doing the A pose or something,
Oh man.
like doing that
Yeah.
whole thing. And the second we saw that, I was like, holy shit, this movie's going to be a huge success. The
Yeah.
second, again, it's the participation of it. I saw posts online of like guys going to movie theaters and taping fake doorways onto the outer wall of the movie theater with the blue tape, the painter's tape. It's
It's
the
good.
participation that maybe if it's not in the movie itself, it's in the going to the movie and the talking about the movie.
Hmm.
That like the projections of the box office were going to be 40, 50, which is crazy good for A24. After the Thursday previews, because everyone saw it Thursday, the projections are double now. Hollywood has no idea how well this movie's going to do now. It
Hmm.
The only direction is up, by the way. It's not down, it
Yeah.
is up. So,
I will be really
yeah.
interested to see how this does second weekend because you
I
saw
agree.
Obsession have a huge jump second
Yes.
weekend, or like basically stay the same. I have a bad feeling this won't see it. I think this will dip second weekend. I think the people who want to go see this movie are gonna go see it this weekend.
Yeah, it's the fandom is seeing it this weekend. It's like the MCU movies. You
Mm-hmm.
don't want to get spoiled. You see it opening weekend.
Yeah.
So
I
the
just don't
box
think
office,
word of mouth is gonna be good enough to get the people who weren't gonna go see it to go see it.
right?
If that
And
makes sense.
it's both. So like MCU movies, the box office dip from weekend 1 to weekend 2 is way bigger than just usual blockbusters because the MCU fandom is like I don't want to get spoiled. I'm going to see it opening night. And then you have so the fandom for Backrooms is like we need to see it tonight, Thursday. And then you have word of mouth compared to Obsession. I still think we should save that conversation for later.
Yep. Yep.
Obsession, the word of mouth has been incredible. Like every other TikTok I look at now or Instagram reel is talking about Obsession. I think maybe the algorithm is just throwing at me, but
Yeah.
everything is Obsession right now, and the box office just keeps going up and up and up for that movie, which is like, hell yeah. Like there is a world that on Monday, a world like this exists. There is a world that on Monday, Backrooms is number 1 in the box office, Obsession is number 2, and Mandalorian and Grogu is fucking number 3. Wild. Like
Unreal.
that can maybe happen. Maybe.
Yeah.
That would be incredible. Yeah.
That'd be awesome. It'd be great. I have a few questions, but they kind of tie into both Obsession and Backrooms together. Not pitting
Okay,
them
so let me
against each other,
talk
but
about my
yeah.
me talk about my theater experience then.
Please.
So
please.
you went with friends
Yeah.
and they all had varying degrees of in the know.
Yes.
I went and your theater was full, right?
for the most part. Like not
Okay.
full. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was pretty full. And school's out. It was the first day that school was officially out. I went at 5 p.m. Rookie mistake. My whole row, middle schoolers. I don't know how they
Oh.
got in because this movie is rated R, right?
Yeah.
They swear a lot. I feel like it's
Yeah.
rated R. Full of middle schoolers, and they are climbing over their chairs. They're sitting with their legs up in the air as they're watching the screen. They're on their phones. They're taking photos of the fucking screen.
Oh.
They're chewing the popcorn loudly. It's I understand. It's kind of a quiet movie at parts. You want to not make noise, so you chew slowly, but it makes it louder. I've been there. That's fine. They spilled their giant extra large Diet Coke onto the theater carpet. So it was, and they were loud. They were not whispering. They were talking.
I yelled at a kid during Wakanda Forever because he was taking pictures with his flash. I was like,
Yeah,
kid, just leave. I went
happened-
back and talked to him.
That happened last night. A kid took
Okay.
a flash picture of the screen. Hey, stop it. And they're crawling over the seats, and they're all the boys are giggling and talking to each other over the girls they invited or something. I don't know. And then the girls were trying to shush them. It's thank you for trying. Clearly it's a losing battle. And then they spilled the Coke and they did not clean it up. And I'm just kind of sitting there yeah. It was
Frustrating.
crazy.
I had a few people in our theater who were very much, I'd put them in the nerd category when it comes to Backrooms, and I mean that complimentary.
Yeah,
They
sure,
were
yeah.
They were actively attempting to solve the movie out loud, as things were happening. They were
I hate
"Oh,
that.
I think that's that," and they weren't close enough for me to piece together what they were thinking, but I could hear their even their tone. You can tell something would pop up, and they would go, "Oh, I know that thing from that thing."
Yeah, they went
"Cool, dude."
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they start explaining to their girlfriend or wife next to them, "Oh, that's the thing from the thing." And I was like, "All right, dude, it's not the flex you think it is. Also, let me try to enjoy my movie."
Yeah, because I know guys during Spider-Verse would be "That's Spider-Man from Earth 319. That's Spider-Man from
Yeah.
Earth 826," and it's Sure, I mean, and then a text would pop up and be like, "This Spider-Man is from this one." It's like, there you go, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Congratulations. Like the movie itself is patting you on the back. Again, it's part of the participation. So they
Yeah.
want that. They crave that, which that's what gets them to the movies. So good. Um, that would be horrible if that happened during like a Knives Out, or God forbid, Sheep
Yeah.
Detectives. If someone sitting
Yeah.
behind you is like, "I think it's the maid," it's like, shut up.
That's a red herring there.
Yeah,
All right. Let's do the conversation, obsession, and backrooms kind of
yeah.
together. I got a few questions I want to ask, kind of about what this means for like the industry as a whole, but for these two against each other, kind of where do you stand? Obviously, I preferred obsession over backrooms quite a bit. I just think, again, for me, the screenplay is a little tighter. It works better for me. It's just more my speed, and it's not anything against backrooms. Again, I've said it multiple times this episode. Probably just not for me. But where do you stand with these two? Pit them against each other. How do you have that conversation?
I do want to start the conversation with trying not to pit them.
Okay.
A lot like
Yeah.
the marketing, gods in charge pitted sinners against one battle after another, and that created a lot of shit throwing that I wasn't a fan of because both movies are really, really good, and
Yeah.
they were the two best movies of the year. So for Obsession and Backrooms, the fact that both of them are going to make a shit ton of money, you know, a high tide raises all ships kind of thing. It'll be nice to have like three, stamps of approval that like, hey, YouTube is a source for box office revenue. It's kind of that micro grassroots fandom. Markiplier's been building it for years. Kane Parson did it in like a quarter of the time, which is incredible. And
Mm-hmm.
maybe Curry Barker has fans as well. I don't know. I've now seen some of his shorts. Very funny.
It's great.
So YouTube is like you do the homework or you do the work to like grow your audience. And then you have like a direct number for your audience, followers and also just viewership monthly. And now maybe that might have sway for more independent production companies like A24. A24 is like barely in that tier now. They're kind of above that. But or Markiplier, which that's even more it's it's more likely to happen now after this year than it was before COVID. It's still going to be really fucking hard. Like all three of these guys, well, not Markiplier because he paid for the whole thing himself, but the other two guys got extremely lucky to find this level of success because it legit has not happened before.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that this year is like it's proof that it can happen. I just want to say that high tide raises
Yeah.
all ships, whatever that phrase is. I like Obsession more because I think Curry Barker as a filmmaker is just more this is his alley. He loves horror. He knows all the little inside jokes, all the quirks of just making horror itself. He's going to lean into that. Or he's going to like he said in one of his interviews, he's like if I'm watching a horror movie and it does something that I think is stupid, he's like now I know not to do that. He does his homework. He's like, okay, these are the new cliches of horror for the past 10 years. We're not going to do that. We're going to do this instead. He knows where to dance in the genre. I think Kane Parsons is more a designer. He likes to craft these like immense scale ideas. He's more about concepts than he is about individual scenes, I think, from the two
Mm-hmm.
movies that we have seen.
Yeah.
So structurally, he's more about the design of the image and what it and the depths that lone image can go, like subconsciously to the viewer. So, and then Curry Barker is just like quick, like here's you know, horror is very similar to comedy. Setup, punchline, got it. That's Curry Barker. Kane Parsons more larger scale design, bigger picture kind of thing.
Yeah.
So the next movie Kane Parsons makes, if it's a horror movie, I will legit be shocked. I think he should do something bigger. The way he talks in interviews is very video game inspired. He talks about Portal and he talks about like internet online chat rooms like 4chan being the inspiration for Backrooms and also like Discord and all this stuff. He's outside the usual conversations movie makers have. He doesn't really reference, oh, this movie from the 70s, I ripped that off for this scene. He's more like, this video game gave this vibe that I'm hunting for in this scale. So he's more designer. So I think his next movies, like Portal, apparently he loves Portal. I think he would make a great Portal game. That would be fantastic. Or, like, honestly, Space. Again, the scale of it. I think he should go those routes. He should try to leave this horror bubble as soon as possible. Versus Corey Barker, I think, can thrive in that ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense, the way you just put that. I think that's, for everything you just said, it makes sense why I lean towards liking Obsession better. Just, that is my avenue. And that the way he approaches filmmaking is way more up my alley. But also, it does feel like, I know it was a $10 million movie, and I have not seen a bunch of like directorial debuts, and we don't have to criticize anything about the directing here, but it does feel like, oh, that makes sense that this is maybe his first movie. Where there's like a lot going on here and a lot of cool things going on. Is it the clearest vision for me or direction? Maybe not, but
I'm
I don't know.
I'm gonna conflict with
Please.
you on that one.
Please.
The hiccups that you and I are experiencing with this movie is more containing this very vague idea of Backrooms inside this runtime. That's it.
Okay.
I think directing, because he is a very visual, visionary creator. I think the design of how this movie looks is on point. And I think the actors do a good job, and he gives them, well, that's more of the script. You know, he gives them time to do monologues and to do their job. I think the most of the hiccups is trying to make this concept consumable for a wide audience in this runtime. I think those are the main explanations for why certain parts of the movie feel a little stilted. Yeah.
That makes sense. A question I wanted to ask you is, YouTube in general, like if you're working for YouTube, I wonder how they view the success of these two or these three or all the YouTube turned filmmakers, because I wonder if they see themselves as like losing this battle because they're using YouTube as a launching pad for bigger and better things, where for a few years there it felt like YouTube wanted to maybe be like, why can't post this movie on YouTube? They got the Oscars in a couple of years. I wonder how YouTube contextualizes this success. Like, do they want to be viewed as a launching pad for artists like this?
I mean, I think they benefit from that because, sure, Curry Barker and Kane Parsons get so successful that they leave the platform. Okay, there's like 200 other kids that just learned Blender or just got a Sony camera that'll replace them. That is YouTube.
Yeah.
It is volume first. We need noise. We need as many creators as possible. So if we have now this new fantasy that you can make it big by just starting a YouTube channel, hot dog, we just got, 1,000 more creators overnight. I think they 100% benefit from this level of success. And if they wanted to be a Neon or an A24, then let Markiplier have his movie on the fucking platform. They won't let him do it.
Yeah.
So they're already fighting that concept in real time. So
yeah, I just think it's a big win for theaters in terms of even these younger people who are stepping into this world. Yeah. They know like the end goal isn't have a successful short film on YouTube. They're using that to get into theaters.
It's a stepping stone.
And they still see that as like the pinnacle, which is cool, I think.
Yeah.
Because there were a few years where it's like, let's just get a streaming whatever and let's be on streaming.
Yes.
Like maybe that's our path. The fact that these young filmmakers see the theatrical experience as kind of like the pinnacle of what they want to do, that's really beneficial, I think, for everybody,
Yeah,
or at
and
least
I think
for the industry.
most first time filmmakers, they settle for streaming because maybe I could get
Yeah.
some money back on this. We're always shooting for the theatrical release. That's always the dream. It's nice to know that that is still the dream for even younger
Yeah.
creators. Because like you get, you know, TikTokers and even like Netflix actors, Millie Bobby Brown. She's like, I don't have the patience to watch a feature length movie. Why are you in the industry then? Like
Yeah.
that whole thing is like, do they see what they're in as stepping stones for other stuff? And I
Yeah.
think the fact that a lot of these YouTube guys are like, no, this is the goal. Still, it's very
Yeah.
comforting. I like it. Yeah.
Yeah. It does feel like the last couple weeks, even if you don't love either movie, it's just there's a energy behind, like,
Yeah.
I see people that have never even once thought about the box office in their life have brought up to me is like, hey, did you see how much money Obsession's making? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's cool that, like, you know that, and that's kind of broken through into mainstream conversation of like, hey, this movie was made for nothing and is making a shit ton of money. Why? That's a cool thing. I want to check it out. Oh, it's a
Yeah.
YouTuber. That's cool. And then it
Yep.
snowballs. So it does feel like, whether we're in a healthy place or not, it's an exciting time of like people are starting to gain interest in things that felt like we're slipping out of the ether a little bit. Other question I wanted to ask is along the same lines of YouTube being a launching pad for some of these creators. That seems to be kind of the breeding ground now. For a while, it was always you do the typical film school route, maybe make first film festivals, skip all that stuff. This new route, how do you see that changing, like film schools and like that ecosystem and how that operates? Because what's stopping a 10-year-old from just experimenting for the next 8 years of their life? By the time they're 18, they basically know the ins and out of, hey, I want to make a movie, I can just go do it rather than study it for 6 years.
I mean, that's kind of been the conversation for the past 30 years. The more equipment, the cheaper equipment, the more like affordable equipment becomes, the less the draw of going to film school really works. But film
But now they have a
festivals
platform, like the
yeah, well,
platform of the internet.
film festivals still are important. Obsession was at TIFF, and
Yeah.
then it got in a bidding war the night after it premiered at TIFF. Film festivals still have a place. Do they utilize that place as much as they should? No. But it's still there. Like Sundance, that's the whole point of Sundance. It's
Yeah.
kind of become this other thing. They're trying to figure it out right now. But that is the point of Sundance, is like filmmakers that have never been known to premiere their work to a wider audience to then get picked up and distributed.
Yeah. I'm thinking more so for the schools, like film schools. What would be the
Schools
sell
and festivals
of, like,
are different. Yeah, festivals
like,
still
why
have
would I
a purpose.
why would I want to invest my money and time and effort into a film school rather I can put that same money, time, and effort towards maybe some passion project
Yeah.
and just learn as I go, trial and error, where I feel like I'm actually doing the thing. And
So
even if it's not good, I'm
yeah.
getting there.
So two things. As someone that like went to college to study film and film
Yes,
production.
that's why I wanted to talk to you about it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you go to make connections and hopefully to learn theory. Because anyone can pick up a camera and then after so much practice know that camera like the back of their hand. Anyone can do that. And if you can afford the camera, you should. Or a microphone or a light. Like you should know the practical on set ways to get a good image. But the classic like, oh yeah, you do like 4 years of college and then you get an MFA that takes like, I don't know, 1-3 years, who knows, depends on the college. And then the first day you're on set, you learn 100 things more on that one day of set about how a crew works and how a movie gets made than any years at college. So you don't go to film school to learn how to make a movie. You go to film school to know what makes a movie good. It's the theory of it, and also to make connections. Like I know a bunch of guys that are in grad school now that I knew them from undergrad, so I can call them up and be like, "Can you read my screenplay and
Yeah.
talk shit about it?" Like, please.
Yeah.
It's the theory, it's the friendships. That's the whole point of school.
Yeah.
So if you
I
could find that
that
on YouTube, go for it.
yeah.
But um, it's better to have like a professor look at your work before you make it public and say, half of this is not working. You need to remake it. That happened to me senior year. Senior year, yeah. He's like, half of this short does not work. Redo it. And
Tough.
he's been, he's worked in the industry for decades. He knows what
Yeah.
works and what doesn't. So that's why school is still important, but not necessary. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's honestly a good sell for higher education in general, or just like it's more about the connections you can make,
Yeah.
the experience of that, rather like yeah, you can go learn this stuff anywhere. The internet's free, but what do I get on top of that? So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
I know there's a
I
big push right now to say college is not worth it because it's really fucking expensive and AI has made a lot of people
mhm.
unemployed. Absolutely. Like I understand that argument, but if you only went to college to get a job, even though that's what it's pitched as, you burned those 4 years. Like that's
You missed
really
out.
like
Yeah.
it's very you missed out a lot. It
Yeah.
sucks that that's all college is really sold as, or
Hmm.
party until you flunk out. There's a happy middle ground where you
Yeah.
can make memories, have lifelong friends, and learn like important shit and also learn useless shit. I minored in
Learn. They're
Irish
just
language.
yeah.
Like, why would I do that? I'm an American. I've only been to Ireland for a week in my life. Why would I do that? That's the point of college. Yeah.
Yeah. You learn how to just be a functional human being with less consequences than the real world. It's like a trial run
Yes.
where you
It's a
have
trial run.
you
Yeah.
you have your training wheels on. You're still in a confined community before you
Yeah.
really branch out to the real world. So, I just think that's an interesting conversation. The last thing I had, I just wanted to know. We've talked about this a little bit. A24. What have we learned about them in the process of this movie getting greenlit, the success of this movie,
Hmm.
where they go from here? Like, what's the status of A24? What have we learned about them through this movie?
They're they're in a weird spot right now. They're making the Elden Ring movie right now. Like video game adaptation with Alex Garland, like their most expensive director that they're friends with, basically. A24 is very loyal to their filmmakers, except for Robert Eggers for some reason. Robert Eggers is like, see ya, I'm going to Focus. I'm leaving A24. But like, Ari Aster has not made a financially successful movie since Hereditary, and yet they still greenlight his stuff. So A24 is very loyal to their squad of guys. Um, but because of that, I think they're still like massively in debt, which is why they're doing bigger budgets with celebrity actors and doing just bigger movies. It's like the tentpole fallacy of Hollywood. The more money you throw at it, the more money it gives back to you. When it works, and when it doesn't work, you're dead in the water, kind of thing. And that's A24 is in the
Yeah.
middle of that. So they're making the Elden Ring movie. They just did Marty Supreme. It's one of their biggest movies. They
The
still
drama.
only have two Best Picture winners in their entire catalog versus Neon, who doesn't even produce; they only distribute. Neon is the winning strategy in terms of racking up awards.
Yeah.
I am way more a fan of the Neon movies than the A24 movies right now. But the recent movies that I kind of that paint the picture of A24 right now is Marty Supreme, um, the boxing movie with Dwayne Johnson. Forgot what it's
Smashing
called.
Machine.
Smashing Machine. Mother Mary, and now Backrooms.
The
Smashing
drama.
Machine, horrible, like flopped terribly. Uh, and was also like pretty expensive. I think it was a $50 million movie. Oh, and I forgot the drama. The drama is actually
Yeah,
a
the
success.
drama.
But Smashing Machine, horrible failure. They had a celebrity actor. They had a they had one of the Safdie brothers, like, and it was like, shot with old cameras, vintage cameras. There's every studio has like an algorithm that if you plug in these things,
Hmm.
it works. And A24 has had a pretty good equation, and recently it has not worked. Smashing Machine is proof that A24 fully believed it was going to knock it out of the park, and it was a dud. And then Marty Supreme, the marketing team had to break their backs to get that thing maybe financially profitable. I think they
Hmm.
say it was a profit. I think it broke even, which is the goal
Yeah.
theatrically. But the drama, I think, has been a huge success. The fact that they swept the whole controversy of the director under the rug, shocking. He had like some relationship with an underage girl a couple years
Yeah.
ago. He's European, so they're like, it doesn't count. It's like, wait a minute.
It's crazy. Only things I've heard about that are from you. I haven't seen it anywhere.
Really? Oh, I've seen it
Yeah.
everywhere. But the fact that it did not affect the money, huge success on the A24 marketing department. And then Mother Mary versus Backrooms. Mother Mary came out like a month ago. I think Mother Mary had like double, maybe even triple the budget of Backrooms. Had a fraction of the marketing. It had no marketing. A24 knew that thing was a dud. They were not going to pull a Smashing Machine. They're like, release it, call it a failure, be done with it. Let's fully commit to Backrooms. Like if you opened up IMDb or any like trades website, Backrooms, 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 like almost
Yeah.
as much as Star Wars, maybe even more on some websites. A24 fully committed to this thing working, and it's already proving that it will. So,
Yeah.
hooray. But I think you have to, and A24 is known for this, you have to take the A24 marketing and separate it from the actual movie, because there's so many A24 movies that are not the trailer. It is
Yeah.
ridiculous how different the movies are compared to the trailers. So whoever's in charge of the marketing department on A24, they're the king of that studio. Holy shit. The fact that there's like an A24 look, and Euphoria was mostly part of that, but like I watch short films like made by high schoolers, and they are trying to do Euphoria lighting. I'm like, guys, stop. A24 has a very iconic look to it. For a studio of that size, that is so unbelievably impressive. Neon does not do that. Like Lionsgate doesn't do that. Disney doesn't even do that. A24 is like, we are a genre on our own. That's all marketing.
Yeah.
It is very impressive. And so what
It's
films fit that, what films don't,
yeah.
kind of influences what gets more trailer, more website space, more buzz about it.
I'm interested because I think their next movie is going to be the Tony movie, the Anthony Bourdain movie that has me excited because I love Matt Johnson, the director. Um, so
When does that come out? That's their next movie?
early August. What else do they have? Oh no, they have the
Oh,
Death of
that's-
Robin Hood.
Oh.
They have the Death of Robin Hood, the
Yeah.
Invite, the Olivia Wilde one, and then Tony. But
Okay, so
like
they
you said,
picked up the invite. A24
uh,
produces in-house some of their films like Backrooms and I think the drama, and Marty Supreme, and then they pick up some other films from festivals. They still do that. I think they picked up the invite.
okay.
So yeah.
Well, when you mentioned separating like the marketing from the actual movie, that's what has me more optimistic about Tony because again, I love Matt Johnson. I'm excited for
Yeah.
the movie. I like Dominic Sessa. The trailer, it felt very by the book. and not as inventive as
Yeah.
I know Matt Johnson can be. So
Yeah.
if I can separate the two and just hope that it's still a little wild, I'll be happy. But
Yeah.
it'll be
Meanwhile,
interesting.
Death of Robin Hood, there's no way that movie's making money. No.
No, not a chance.
In terms of like finger on the pulse of like pop culture, Backrooms, cut the neck open and grabbed the vein. They're like, we got it.
Yeah.
Death of Robin Hood is like completely missing the mark. It's like,
Yeah.
what if the guy that's known for stealing from the rich and giving to the poor was actually a jackass and a murderer and not a good hero? We should not look up to him. It's like, fuck you.
Exactly. All right, I think we can wrap up there. I think we went through that one unscathed. I don't think we said anything crazy.
Well, don't
but I'm
say
sure
that
people are
now.
still gonna be mad.
Wait, yeah.
Hey,
wait for
the
post.
people who hate us, the people who hate us and want to tear us apart, have not listened to 57 minutes of this. So we can say whatever we want at this point, as long as we don't clip it. But yeah, no,
yeah, that's on you.
I was impressed by this movie. Whether it was for me or not, I was underwhelmed. But I hope people continue to enjoy this because this movie existing is an overall net positive, regardless of my own personal taste. So I'm excited to go see it. JP, any last words on Backrooms?
I'm trying to look at my notes.
Well, what did we forget?
I think
Mark Duplass is in this, the guy who everyone's tagging us in his video, which is funny that he's in this movie. I didn't realize he was in it.
Yeah.
I knew he was like helping. I didn't know he was in it, so like it makes sense for him to come and market the movie and say, yeah, this was 100% Kane. Not saying that's what he did, but he did help the movie.
It is super interesting, kind of the army that A24 assembled to be a part of this movie. Like in terms of just producers putting money into it. And I think Mark Duplass maybe put money into it to be like, yes, this movie should get made. Mark Duplass is like, the fact that he has given Kane Parsons the stamp of approval means a lot. I think it means almost as much as the movie itself, because he is like the king of micro budget movies.
Yeah.
Not that this is not a micro budget at all, but the fact that like Obsession comes out and then Mark Duplass is like, oh, I was on this other movie, is kind of crazy.
No.
Yeah. But no, Mark Duplass is awesome. I'm not a huge fan of Creep, his like Creep movies, but his goal for those movies was, how many scares can I get into the runtime with $0? And it's very successful. Very, like, he nailed it. So,
That's great.
Yeah, the fact that he shows his face, I like his character too, is very much like stamp of approval, this guy's good. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll leave it at that. Thanks for listening, everyone. We'll be back next time with what is coming up. Anything?
I have no idea.
I feel no idea. Well, whatever it is, we'll be back. So thanks for watching, everyone. See you next time.